Hello, my name is Jason Talbert, and I'm the Global Director managing the Microsoft ecosystem here at Informatica. And today I am pleased to welcome you to our discussion about three things you need to know for unified Azure data governance. As a little bit of background, I should tell you that Informatica is the market leading provider of comprehensive data management solutions for the most complex data driven challenges. Our modular, intelligent data management cloud addresses all of your needs across the data estate with cutting-edge AI. We cover discovery to quality, protection to mastery, and everything in between. Nearly 85% of the Fortune 100 use Informatica, and we have thousands of joint enterprise customers with Microsoft in over 100 countries and territories worldwide, including Kroger, Ford, Chubb, and the FDA. Our cloud solutions are deeply integrated into the Azure platform, and all are available through the Azure Marketplace. Now, in the world of data management, perhaps no component is more needed and more elusive than that of data governance. Everyone knows that they need it, but many organizations struggle to put it into place. All too often, it gets deferred as necessary. We should really do that next year. Now, but deferring to data governance is never a good idea. We have already helped a great number of our clients solve their data challenges across Azure, on-premises, multi-cloud, hybrid, and SaaS environments. And you can see here the top outcomes that have driven their attention to solve their data governance challenges now. First, ensure data-driven decision-making. Everybody wants this. But if the quality of your data isn't good, you can't trust the decisions that come from it. This is a major driver for many of our customers. 2, privacy and regulatory compliance. Good intentions don't satisfy the regulators or your customers. Accuracy does. You have to know where all of your data is and understand what it is if you're to successfully meet these standards. 3, data democratization. It only makes sense. If you've gone to the trouble to discover all of your data and have protected what is sensitive and have enriched it to establish good quality, you want to answer the question of how do I get the maximum amount of this enriched data most easily into the hands of the people who can use it to drive value for the company? 4, operational efficiency. It's simple. Good data means better data-driven decision making, which promotes operational efficiency. And 5, enhanced customer experiences. With improved data, every company is in a better position to understand not only who their customers are or what they want, but also determine the best way to engage with them. Needs such as these is what brought one of our many customers, Unilever, to adopt Informatica's enterprise data governance solutions for Azure. Unilever products, including brands such as Lipton, Dove, and Hellmann's, are used by over 2 billion people a day, and Unilever uses an e-commerce site to maximize the revenue. This move heightened the need for data governance, as incomplete or incorrect data sets could impact how products are found through search, and this could leave the company open to regulatory fines for misleading consumers. Further, establishing a single record of truth for their products is helping to reduce confusion and improve the existence of their customers the experience of their customers who use the marketplace. Of course, achieving these outcomes isn't simple. Let me give you an example of just one of these. In recent discussions with one of our multinational customers, we took a snapshot of the external factors that were driving their regulatory compliance needs. There were policy factors, such as Brexit, imposing new reporting demands for transactions between the UK and the EU. Likewise, a never-ending stream of global and regional regulations continue to impose refined privacy and reporting commitments with no room for error. And of course, COVID-19 responses drove more activity into the digital realm, all of which generated activities that had to stay in the context of the policies and regulations I just referenced. This chart on the right may look complex, but underneath each of these rules and regulations lies even more nested sets of implementations, workflows, and at-risk stakeholders that must be orchestrated to successfully meet the deadlines and deliver results. This problem requires an AI ML solution. This problem requires one platform with one roadmap. that won't have one component break when another has its next update. This problem requires a unified enterprise data management solution from Informatica. To tell you more about the solution, I have asked Levent Ergen, one of Informatica's data governance and privacy domain experts, to explain how Informatica's unified enterprise data governance for Azure provides the most comprehensive solution to generate the outcomes we outlined on the previous slide, especially when you apply our 3 best practices for implementing a unified data governance solution for your enterprise. Levent?
Thanks, Jason. What a great introduction. Thank you. So my name is Levent Ergen. I'm a data governance and privacy domain expert here at Informatica. So Jason's brought us into kind of the examples of some of those compelling events that we saw at a multinational customer of ours. So if we were to think about all of those compelling events, each of them would have their own sponsor. And that sponsor would typically be, the impacted CXO that needs to deliver the requirements against that regulation, for instance. And that could be, your head of your global head of capital management. It could be global head of liquidity, or even global head of regulatory reporting. Essentially, when all of those data requirements land at the center at your chief data office, when your CDO receives all of these requests, what you really need is an AI ML driven solution to be able to meet the demands across 5 key areas. So those data requirements would essentially boil down to 5 common things, like a common set of critical data domains, critical data elements, CDEs or KDEs, data quality rules, data policies, data protection and compliance requirements. And where we could help is using our platform on your journey to Azure, or whilst you're on Azure as well, is to first and foremost connect and scan all of your structured and unstructured data sources, all your data lakes, to be able to discover, identify and classify all of your data. And that is driven and powered by AI, where we could actually identify and classify your personally identifiable information, PII data, for various data privacy requirements you may have, or even PCI DSS, your payment card industry data security standard requirements. So we have loads of out-of-the-box functionality, loads of out-of-the-box critical data domains that we can identify and classify to accelerate, your discovery and building your data catalog, building your data lineage, understanding how your data, travels from its cradle to the grave. Then the next step is understanding that data, and typically this is where you would define your critical data elements, your business terms. You might call it potato, I'll call it patata, you might call it customer, I call it client. Whatever it is, once we get around the same round table that is driven by workflow automation, thanks to our platform, once we define what that business term is called, through AI, we can achieve what we call intelligent glossary association, which is really stitching your CDEs to the underlying technical metadata, to your data lineage. If you were to take a field in one of your reports called probability of default, we could actually understand exactly which systems and where that data is being captured, where it's being calculated, even at a transformational level, so that you could exactly understand where that data is being sourced today. Then once you've discovered and understood your data, the next step is to understand your data quality. And it's key to build trust in your data before you move it to Azure. So again, thanks to AI-powered natural language processing, Informatica data quality enables your business to be able to type in simple English, not code, not getting some coder to do it for them, in simple English, being able to type up rules and have them turn into executable data quality rules thanks to AI that can then be immediately run against all of those data sources that you've connected and scanned to see what your data quality is like, to then understand what you need to do in order to cleanse that data, to build trust in your data before you move it to Azure. Then Jason touched on a whole bunch of regulations around data protection, and you've also got loads of data policies that you need your citizens, citizens to adhere to. So this is where, again, through one platform, through our data privacy manager, you could actually understand your data risks and apply the appropriate controls so that you're only moving compliant data to the cloud. And even if you've moved data to the cloud already, the governance doesn't just stop there. You could actually identify, classify, understand, look at your data quality, and protect the data you already have moved into Azure as well. And the last point here I want to call out, which is the most exciting part, is after you've gone through and you've put all the hard work into your data governance, it's now time to democratize that data, time to get that data to your business through self-service analytics. And this is where you could really unlock new value, where you could enable your business to be able to focus on revenue generating assets, activities, leveraging clean, trusted data that you've curated for business consumption. In every organization, we see that there's loads of people, there's loads of personas in your data community. You have data engineers, citizen analysts, line of business consumers, citizen integrators, data architects, data stewards, etc. Before we can get to governed consumption, there's a set of foundational capabilities that Informatica can help you with. So we touched on discovery, so understanding your data assets, providing the business context around it, so understanding the data context with your critical data elements or your business terms, understanding who has access to that data, making sure that it's fit for use and that it has the right appropriate level of quality before you move your data to Azure, or even creating a single view of your data. So master data management, whether it's a single view of your business or your entities like your customer or your products. Again, we can help you out of one single platform on your journey to Azure. And just to touch on again, ensuring that you're actually applying the appropriate controls and protecting that data before you move it to Azure. And finally, the most exciting part, democratizing that data to your business so that they could focus on revenue generating assets. Now, in terms of looking at the architecture to move to cloud, you may have multiple sources of data. You may have custom apps. You may have multiple cloud. You may have databases on-prem. You may have various unstructured files. So we could help to discover, understand, build the quality in all of your data sources before you move it onto Azure, so that what you've only moved the best data to Azure Data Lake Store. Again, you could continue to monitor your data quality, your data policies, and even mask your sensitive data that you may have moved there prior to using Informatica to ensure that you're always compliant with regulations. And again, you could move the data to Azure to ensure that you're unlocking the analytics capability in Azure Synapse. And again, the exciting part of democratizing that data to your business audience so that they can focus on revenue generating assets. Now, let's talk about those 3 best practices that Jason touched on earlier. The best practice one would be discovering and understanding all of your data. So why do I say all of your data with an emphasis? It's because to a certain extent, you could capture basic lineage in a lot of various technologies, but where Informatica can really help you above and beyond is, through over 100 advanced scanners that we have that are AI driven, that can even capture the data lineage, that you may have within your stored procedures that are typically found in Oracle, SQL Server, DB2. So, we could capture the data lineage there. We could even capture data lineage across your ETL tools or even across your legacy estate. So if you have any mainframes, any JCL and COBOL, we can connect and scan that to be able to capture your data lineage as well. Best practice number 2, ensuring you only move trusted data to Azure. So how we can enable you to do that is through Axon data governance. We can actually show you the journey of your data from the cradle to the grave overlay on top of your data lineage, your data sources, including your data quality, so you can then make sure that you only move your highest quality data to Azure. In addition to that, making sure that your data that you move is compliant with your data policies, and your data stewards and your data owners are happy with the data you move. So again, we could unlock that information in a single platform where you could ensure that you've got the appropriate governance before you move data to Azure. And lastly, making sure that you're compliant with all of your regulations, especially around data protection. We could show you your data risks and the appropriate controls you have already applied to ensure that you are operating within risk appetite, and this will ensure that with your journey to Azure, you've moved data that you have protected, that is compliant with regulations. And again, once you're in Azure, that journey continues. We can again help you to ensure that you've got the appropriate risks covered with appropriate controls, all in the one platform. Best practice 3, exciting part, getting the right access to the right people for your data. We've covered all of those policies before, so we can ensure that you democratize that data to the right people in your business, just like an e-commerce checkout experience, and that will be done in a way that's compliant with your regulations and your data policies. And we've got social media like functionality, so people can actually rate data, they can request data, and this is where you actually bring the business a lot closer to data governance and start to really unlock value. So I just want to wrap up with some of the functionality in our enterprise data governance platform. So when it comes to data discovery, we can help with data profiling, data provisioning, data classification, schema detection, basic data lineage, advanced data lineage, showing you transformational lineage, even across your stored procedures or even your legacy mainframe systems. In the data security and privacy space, we can help you with your remediation workflows, user activity dashboards, breach reports. Hopefully you'll never have to use that functionality. Security alerts, find your sensitive PII data, and even automate your DSAR reports or your right to be forgotten requests for GDPR. And just to wrap up with data governance and quality, we can help you set up your business rules, workflows, data quality scorecards, your policy definitions, your business glossary, so your critical data elements, as well as setting up all of the right roles, such as your data stewards, your data owners, etc. With that, I want to thank you for listening to us and have a fantastic day. Thank you.